Hello, everybody, and welcome to coverage of Pro Tour Eldritch Moon.
Yeah, this doesn't get much better than this match, does it?
It does not. We are heading into round 14. We have awesome feature matches. We'll talk about what's at stake for these players when we head down to the match, but we got some good ones lined up for you guys. Let's head down to the feature match. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to coverage of Pro Tour Eldritch Moon. This is Gabby Sparts, joined by Pro Tour Hall of Famer Randy Buehler, and we are here in round 14. Man, we have a great set of feature matches lined up for you.
It does not get much better than this.
These are the two 11-2 players. The only two 11-2 players left, correct?
The only pairing
The
of
only
11
pairing
and 2
left.
players. There's 4 people tied for first at 11 and 2. Here's 2 of them. The winner clinches the top 8. Owen Turtenwald could clinch top 8 number, I think, 4. Luis Scott-Vargas could clinch top 8 number 8.
That's nuts. So taking a look at the left, we see Owen Turtenwald. He's playing the Teamer Emerge deck, lovingly nicknamed Teamerge, as we've discussed. Doesn't really translate very well when you write it out. And we are going to see how he fares out against Luis Scott-Vargas over on the right, playing Band Company. Neither player refuses to lose, or they both refuse to lose, rather. Our players are underway. We see Vessel of Nascency for Owen, a pass back to Luis.
Yeah, winner gets a 12th win, which should lock up top 8. The loser still gets to play for it again next round. And then in the round after that, if we're doing the math right. Crazy. Luis Scott-Vargas actually going for a 3rd consecutive Pro Tour top 8, a feat which hasn't been done in 18 years.
So when was the last time this was done, Randy?
John Finkel did it.
Okay.
In 1998. He won Pro Tour New York. He top 8'd the Worlds that Brian Selden won, and then he top 8'd the Chicago that Dirk Babarowski won.
And what was the time before that?
Scott Johns did it at the very beginning of the Pro Tour, the first year.
Wow. It would be amazing to run it back. It's been so long.
Yeah, that's... You're like, Kai never did this. John did it once. So it was long enough ago that it was Finkel's top 8s 2, 3, and 4. That's how long ago it was. 3 top 8s
is so many, though. That's the thing. It's insane. So we'll see. He refuses to join us in the booth. We accept. It's okay.
We'll miss you tomorrow, Luis.
Yeah, we'll miss you tomorrow. We wish you good luck. It would be amazing if you really top 8s. Owen's going to crack that Vessel of Nascency. Setting a couple creatures to say a Wretched Griff. Constructed playable Wretched Griff for Owen Turtenwald in the graveyard.
Yeah, we talked a little bit last round. We saw Reed Duke's take on how to build an Emrakul deck. Reed and Owen are testing partners. Right? Team Pantheon had at least 3 distinct decks that were designed to build up to big Emrakuls. Owen went with the Emerge package. So he's splashing blue mana. He's got Emerge creatures. He felt that was the way to sort of flesh out the deck, in addition to the now ubiquitous green cards that fill up the graveyard and Emrakul on top of the curve.
So then this is Pilgrimage is going to help Owen make his land drops. He finds a forest and another one to his hand. Luis is going to follow up with a Tireless Tracker. Here we see it on the right. Be a nice way to draw some cards later in the turn. And a pass back to Owen.
Go.
Owen is going to get that Narwhal Dryad. That guy is gnarly. Get down on the battlefield. Let's see a pass back to Luis. There we see him. New card from Eldritch Moon. 1 mana, 1/1, but with Delirium it's a 3/3, and it has Death Touch.
19.
Evolving Wilds for Luis, so he gets a clue. Reflector Mage takes care of the Narwhal Dryad.
11.
This drops Owen down to 11.
Yeah, and you see Luis doing his best to just clear a path and get through damage while he can. That he knows he does not win the late game against these Emerge decks, Delirium decks. All those decks attack Bant Company by just being better in the long game. So it puts a lot of pressure on the Bant Company deck. If you're going to win, you have to tempo it out. You have to sneak through damage when you can. You have to, maybe top deck a way to buy a turn against an Emrakul and pick up the wins.
Go.
A quick update from one of our back tables. Lucas Blohan wins a very quick game against Antonino De Rosa. He's up 1-0. Wow, 3 clues for Luis as he plays another land and getting in there with everybody.
No blocks.
Yeah, this just in. Tireless Tracker is still good. Luis appears to have better things to do with his mana than crack clues, though.
So Narwhal Dryad coming back down for Owen. We'll be able to block some of these creatures, but he's going to need more than this to survive. Currently sitting only at 4 life.
Is he holding an Deep Fiend, Elder Deep Fiend?
Has 2 Emrakul the Promised End in hand and an Elder Deep Fiend. So Elder Deep Fiend should be able to do some work here.
Yes.
Tireless Striker, Spell Queller from that collected company for Luis. Untap.
I mean, I'm sure Owen would prefer to ambush a creature in combat, but it looks like he's going to have to Deep Fiend preemptively to tap 4.
Yeah, so he's going to get another clue. 5 clues for Luis. This game might be over in a flash, Randy. There's an Archangel Avacyn in his hand, too.
Oh, geez.
2 of them, actually.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so here comes Elder Deep Fiend. Sacrificing the Narwhal Dryad. Tap down 4 of your creatures. It looks like Reflector Mage is the only creature still around. Yeah. So land, get another clue. He's got 6 clues now? Yeah. 6 clues for Luis and that Tireless Tracker. Both of them are going to grow very fast. So let's see what Owen can piece together here. 2 Forest, 2 Emrakul the Promised End, and a Kozilek's Return. So if he can piece a way to cast a backside of Kozilek's Return, he might be able to make a comeback.
Archangel Avacyn is a problem.
Indeed it is.
Owen was hoping those things not untapping would buy him another turn, that he could get either Kozilek's Return or Emrakul off, but nope. Avacyn comes flashing down during end step and attacks for the win.
And man, that was a quick game. Luis up 1-0 over Owen. We have a lot more Magic coming to you, so stay tuned. We'll see you right after these messages.
Put what you've learned from watching the Pro Tour into action next weekend at Game Day. Test your skills and your new standard deck at a store near you. Top finishers are awarded special Game Day prizes, including full art premium promo cards and a champion playmat for the winner.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to coverage of Pro Tour Eldritch Moon. We're going to take a look at one of our back matches while our main match shuffles up. This is going to be Sam Pardee, who's playing Black-Green Delirium, versus Andrew Brown, who's playing Teamer Emerge. Both players are currently sitting at 11 and 2.
Is that an emblem in play?
Hello, that is a Liliana emblem in play. Indeed. This is the first time we've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it threatened, and then the other player scoops up their cards and says, I can't beat a Liliana emblem. I haven't seen it attacked.
Looks like Elder Deep Fiend is going to force one of those zombies to block. And Wretched Griff coming down for Andrew Brown.
Sam playing for that magical 12th win here that we think is good enough for top 8. Andrew Brown, a match back in the standings. Sam's, this Black-Green Delirium deck has done super well. Face-to-face games has had a particularly good Pro Tour. Most of them are on this Black-Green Delirium list, and they've been doing pretty well.
Well, it looks like there's a Emrakul the Promised End on Sam Pardee's hand. Question is, how far away are we from casting this?
Sure. Plus there. Sure.
So second Liliana, targeting that Wretched Griff.
I'll end my turn and make some zombies.
Yeah, and Pardee's going to make a couple zombies here, thanks to the Liliana emblem.
Drop. Yep.
So Andrew Brown needs to find a way to, knock Sam Pardee from 20 life.
Seems hard.
This is an uphill battle, especially once that Liliana emblem gets out of hand really fast.
True story.
Does look like he has a Kozilek's Return in hand. And here it comes, Kozilek's Return. Away go all the zombies.
Combat. Yep.
So Andrew making the decision here. Does he want to just attack Sam Party's life? Can you race that Liliana ultimate? What are you going to do, Andrew Brown?
Liliana, you. Sure.
You got to kill the Planeswalker, right?
Liliana bites it. Round 8.
All right, so Liliana down. Heritage Druid for Andrew Brown.
I have one. Just one. I'll cast Languish.
Oh, Languish is going to
Jeez.
take... Oh, this is going to be very difficult for Andrew to come back from. Losing both of his creatures here. Only an Elder Deep Fiend left.
Yeah, we should go back to
Yeah,
the
I
main
think we should go
match.
back to the main match. So let's move back to our main match. We'll bring you updates from what's going on in that game. I do want to know how this Liliana...
Yeah, I do too. But
Usually you think Liliana Ultimate can't win anymore, but it looks like Andrew Brown was trying to dig his way out of it. Going back to our main match, Owen Turtenwald versus Luis Scott-Vargas. Luis currently in the lead. And Gather the Pack is going to reveal... Wow, getting some of those Kozilek's
Yep.
returns in the graveyard for Owen is a big game for him.
yeah, that's pretty much how it's drawn up.
Evolving Wilds for Luis and the pass back to Owen.
And it's a lot easier for him to trigger the Kozilek's Return than, say, Reed, because he's got the Emerge package.
So this is Pilgrimage getting a forest for Owen, another one in hand, 2 in hand. There we see this is Pilgrimage. Great addition for all the ramp decks, and this is exactly what Owen's trying to do this game. What do you think Luis gets post board to fight the ramp decks?
Apparently it's Tameo. You just tap down the Emrakul for a turn,
Mhm.
and that's good enough.
Sylvan Advocate coming down for Luis, and Pilgrim's Eye for Owen.
Did I just hear Reed Duke winning his first game?
Yeah, so we're getting an update from one of our back tables. Reed Duke is up a game versus Jacob Wilson.
Reed also looking for that magical 12th win. We know the winner of this match is going to be our first player into the top 8, but we could have as many as 3 people get to 12 wins, depending on how those pair-down matches go.
A draw for Owen, it's another Kozilek's Return.
Pilgrim's Eye is the craziest card in this deck. I mean, it makes total sense when you think about it, right?
Yeah, it does.
If you get
It
most
just looks
of its,
so unassuming, right?
It does. Like, you get most of the value, and then you emerge it away.
Go.
Owen opting to pass to Luis. Collected Company, let's see what he finds. 2 Duskwatch Recruiters. It looks like an Archangel Avacyn going down there obviously can't be found with Collected Company. Archangel Avacyn looks like it could be pretty good against exactly that reason. Kozilek's Return from Owen takes down both of Luis's Duskwatch Recruiters.
Instant land, artifact, creature, sorcery. So 5.
And they're getting a count for how many different card types there are currently in the graveyard.
Yeah. Not do you have Delirium, but how many card types? How much does your Emrakul cost right now? 8?
Cards? 5.
Looks like Luis's hand is currently a Prairie Stream, Nissa Vastwood Seer, Spell Queller, and Tameo Field Researcher. Saw Tameo do good work earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Post board,
Who's
he
got
also gets access to counter magic, so
Yeah,
he
I
has
see
a
the
Clash of Wills in hand.
Yeah, Clash of Wills seems a lot better against Emrakul than the negate that most of these lists tend to have in the sideboard.
Go.
Oh, I'm passing back to Luis.
No effects.
Luis is going to go ahead and draw. The Selfless Spirit. So he has a number of creatures, but he has to navigate this pretty carefully. He's very worried about what could happen if Owen is able to play that Emrakul. So in comes Nissa. See what Owen could potentially do about this. He's got 2 forests in hand, Emrakul the Promised End, a Chandra, Flamecaller, and an Elder Deep Fiend. Chandra Flamecaller, that's not something we've seen too much this weekend.
Yep.
All right, so Sylvan Advocate getting in there.
No blocks.
Owen decides to no block.
15.
Yeah, an Elder Deep Fiend sacking the Narwhal Dryad.
And then I'll target tap 1, 2, 3, 4.
He's going to choose to tap down the Sylvan Advocate and 4 of his lands. 3 of his lands, excuse me.
It's pretty interesting that he chose the end of the turn to do that.
And then this resolves. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, so Kozilek's Return coming back. And there comes that Clash of Wills. So Clash of Wills is going to stop the Kozilek's Return. Oh, no.
Kozilek's Return resolved.
It
as
resolved. Yeah. Oh, Emrakul the Promised End.
Jesus.
See, and that's the thing that's scary about using your counterspell there is because if you just, you know, use your counterspell right there, allow Owen to untap play Emrakul. So this is Owen controlling Luis's turn.
Wow. Elder Deep Fiend was bait. Owen played his Elder Deep Fiend. He got Luis to use the Clash of Wills, and that just cleared a path for Emrakul.
Oh, he's not looking particularly happy while he's being controlled by Owen. Let's see how much havoc he can wreak.
I want you to cast Collected Company. Let's say.
All right, so Collected Company.
Did I miss? Yeah.
Do I miss?
So
Yeah.
he's just checking to see exactly.
This last.
Oh, he's actually putting it in such. He's ordering in such a way so that if they do manage to play that long of a game, Luis does not have access to that counter spell. But he is going to fail to find. Sacrifice a Selfless Spirit, and now Luis battling down against an Emrakul the Promised End.
He does have Tameo.
Mm-hmm.
Can only lock Emrakul down twice before she runs out of loyalty, though.
All right, so Tameo will tap down that Emrakul, but the clock is ticking. Gather the pack for Owen.
He's at 20, I'm at 16.
He did not find any creatures from that. He is fueling his graveyard, though.
That's right.
Did you miss?
I missed.
Nice. All right. Is your hand all bricks? Because if that's true.
All right, so last round, Randy, we saw an insane win against Emrakul when it looked
Not this
literally
time.
impossible.
Not this game, anyway.
We'll see what he can piece together for this one.
I mean, the difference is that Owen got off a Kozilek's Return to wipe the board.
Yikes.
Luis just doesn't have anything to attack with here.
Did you see what Owen found right there? Another Pilgrim's Eye and a second Emrakul the Promised End. Tamio can buy some time, but she definitely cannot buy enough time against what's going on right now. All right, so Pilgrim's Eye coming down for Owen. Left in hand, he still has an Emrakul the Promised End and a Chandra Flamecaller.
He's apparently out of basics.
Yeah, he fails to find. If you've been following along, we have an update from our back tables. Reed Duke versus Jacob Wilson are currently going into a game 3. He's just whistling his merry way along this match.
Cards? 3.
Pilgrim's Eye, certainly not a card that we expected to see here this weekend, but it makes a lot of sense in these decks. It matters also a lot for card types in your graveyard.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sneaking in a random artifact creature definitely helps you get to Delirium, helps you make Emrakul cheaper. Luis's demeanor this match has been fun. Reflector Mage of the Emrakul. Yup.
Look, you got to do what you got to do to stay alive.
To any player.
Tamio ticking up. Reflector Mage the Emrakul.
Okay, thank you.
Back to Owen's turn. He has 2 Emrakuls in hand. He's going to...
Can't cast either of them due to Reflector Mage. This is how Luis opened up a window last game. Owen's on 15, though. There's no way, right?
Yeah, no, there isn't. He would need to have some counter spells and things, but we know that in his hand he only has a Spell Queller. That's not countering Emrakul anytime soon.
I take 1.
So Owen's got to be feeling pretty good here. He just needs to make sure he times this correctly
Chandra.
so Luis does no nonsense to get back in this game. But Chandra, pretty good at attacking that Tamio down. Chandra's going to tick up here, putting 2 3/1 red elemental tokens with haste onto the battlefield. They both are attacking Tamio.
The yawn and the whistle from Luis. Yeah, I mean, I think he knows this game is lost. I mean, he's going to play it out, but there's something almost liberating about knowing that you're not supposed to win. You can't really mess it up from here because you're just so dead. What are you playing? See if you can get lucky.
Yeah, you can also play and get more information out of Owen's deck. You never know.
Sure.
He's playing, you know, a very normal-looking Bantless. Owen knows exactly what this deck is going to look like. Luis is animating that Lumbering Falls. So if you guys remember the match that we were watching a little bit earlier, it looks like the Liliana Ultimate did manage to get there
That
eventually.
just ended?
Yeah, it just ended.
Wow. Andrew Brown fought the good fight, I guess. But Sam Pardee's up a game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Crazy.
he was actually very close to winning, but yeah, Sam Pardee takes that game.
Deck for 6.
So Chandra ticking up, attacking Luis for 6, dropping him down to 14.
Block 1. Selfless Spirit.
17.
I think Luis
Yeah.
had a feeling his spirit was going to die anyway.
Yeah, he decided
as
to
well
block with
soak
one
up
of the
some
spirits
damage.
and sack.
Artifact, creature, instant, sorcery, land, enchantment. 6. 7. Trigger.
Well, here comes Emrakul. And an Narwhal Dryad, because why not? So this is Owen controlling Luis. It looks like a land.
I have a feeling Luis is going to make a really bad attack here.
Check these 2.
Oh, what do you know? These creatures are coming in. And yes, that was a horrendous attack. Down go both his creatures. Emrakul untouched. Narwhal Dryad is dead, but no, he doesn't have a Lumbering Falls anymore. Now stuck with a single Reflector Mage.
Yeah, and you block. This has flying. Your turn.
No one's put an Emrakul yet. The creature match here.
All right, and with pretty much nothing in hand, there's really nothing that Luis can do here anymore.
You said that last round.
It's true. It's true. There's no way for this one, though. Oh, and drawing the Corrupted Graphstone.
Speaking of random artifacts that can randomly enable Delirium, does also let him, turns on the possibility of a turn 5 Emrakul.
All right, so Chandra ticks up, going into attacks. We see a couple blocks between the Sylvan Advocate and the Reflector Mage. He's going to have to take 13 from Emrakul, though. A second Emrakul, another land. Take control of your turn once more. Collected Company. He's like, immediately cast it.
Concede response.
Yeah, and he decides to just scoop him up. These gentlemen are going to a game 3.
Indeed. Big game. Winner gets to the magical 12th win that we're pretty sure clinches the top 8.
And you can see
Losers
these,
still got some work to do.
and you can see these two are good friends discussing, laughing about the match as well.
Yeah, they've been teammates at various points. They haven't been teammates in a couple of years. Owen wound up settling in on Pantheon, but they've tested together for a lot of Pro Tours over the years.
Our players are shuffling up, but we'll be moving to one of our back tables shortly. In the meantime, I'll wait for Luis and Owen to finish up shuffling.
What's the match score with Reed and Jacob? They're 1-1,
yeah,
right? So
they're
that's a game 3
currently
they're
1-1.
starting back there.
We are moving back to the match of Antonino De Rosa versus Lucas Blohan. As a friendly reminder, Antonino is currently at 10-3, and Lucas Blohan is also 10-3.
Live totals De Rosa 10, Blahon 25.
So these guys are live for top 8, but they can't finish. They can't get all the way there this round.
Yeah, but they're sitting very nice here. They just have to string a couple wins and
Yep.
be in.
Yeah, Lucas on the white-black control list that we haven't seen a ton of was one of the more popular choices to start day 1. It did okay on day 1.
Yeah, it's been somewhat on stealth mode, right? Just silently creeping up its way to the top. Not
Yeah,
too
we
many
haven't seen a
copies
lot of
of
it in the future match area, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Kalitas is still pretty good.
So Kalitas and a couple zombies on the side for Lucas Blohan.
Gideon emblem at the top of the screen, too.
Oh, yeah. Another stealth Gideon emblem. Not to be ignored here. Looks like Antonino has a couple of spiders left over from Ishkana and a Turtenwald Hydra. So all creatures are getting in here. Turtenwald Hydra getting in front of one of the zombies. A spider under the bus in front of Kalitas. Let's see what Lucas does. It looks like he is going to grasp that Turtenwald Hydra to make sure it dies.
Sure.
And he gets another zombie out of the equation.
Yeah, and the emblem means that his 3/3 zombie actually beats up the Hydra.
Blahon 29.
All right, so Lucas in a commanding position in this game. Let's see what Antonino can piece together here. Looks like he has a couple lands in hand.
Red dots signifying
there-
that Lucas is up a game, too.
Does look like he might have a Dragon Lord Atarka if I caught a peek of it. That could change. That could change things. Unfortunately, those zombies having 3 toughness is a little bit awkward here.
Sure. Step 1 is to kill Kalitas.
So it looks like this game might be over in 1 bit. Our players are still shuffling on the other side. We will be back to our main match shortly, but Dragon Lord Atarka coming down. Let's see what Antonino can piece together here. He's deciding which one to shoot down. Pew pew, down goes that zombie. So Kalitas has chosen to eat it instead, growing a little bit more. Atarka's a good blocker here, but that Kalitas is getting out of control. It looks like this match might still take a little bit longer, so let's head back to our main match and we'll have Tim give us some updates on what's going on over there.
All right, guys, you're good to start. Thank you. I'll check how long, but definitely.
Thought this match would be good when we got here. Now it goes to a 3rd game. 1 game for a spot in the top 8.
All right, the game is underway. Vestal Nascency for Owen and Duskwatch Recruiter for Luis. There you see Duskwatch Recruiter. He's been a staple in the band company decks for a while, both the humans and regular company versions.
Shard's good.
Gather the pack for Owen. Looks like he found a Gnarlwood Dryad. That's about it.
I'm sure Owen thinks his matchup against Bant Company is good, but Luis has played a lot of people in the last 2 days who think their matchup against Bant Company is good.
Yeah, from talking to him earlier, he seems to think that his matchup to these Emrakul and Delirium decks is actually pretty good, and it
Yeah?
gets, yeah.
Activate.
Feels like it gets better post-board, but I think he feels that way about most matchups. Bant does have a very good sideboard against a lot of things in the field. So that Vessel of Nascency, Owen is going to choose to take an island.
Go. 15.
Kralin Hardhowler getting in there for 3.
Luis sitting on a spell queller.
Yeah, he actually has a lot of lands in hand, unfortunately. He's got Island Plains, Fortified Village, Yavimaya Coast, and a Spell Queller. On the other hand, we have Turtenwald with 2 Gnarlwood Dryads, an Emrakul the Promised Land, a Wretched Griff, Elder Deep Fiend, and Dispel. Dispel pretty good against the company decks. So Gather the Pack is going to be... Oh, sorry, the Gnarlwood Dryad is being countered here by the Spell Queller, but a second one comes down for Owen.
That's 2 spells.
2 spells, so we see a Duskwatch Recruiter back and
Which I'm-
transforming.
Which I think Luis might be fine with, given how much mana he has. Nothing to do with it.
So Spell Queller getting in there.
Sure. 13.
It's going to drop Owen down to 13.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's going to activate that Duskwatch Recruiter. There's at least a Selfless Spirit on top. Looks like he's opting for the Tireless Striker. That's a good way to sink your mana into something.
Sure.
Yep.
All right, so Kralin Hardhowler flips again.
Take 3. 17.
Gnarlwood Dryad attacking here.
Go.
And Delirium is on for Owen, so it's actually getting in there for 3. We
No
can
more
see if-
land for Owen, though.
That could be a big problem.
Yeah, 4 mana, not enough for him to operate.
Sure.
Tireless Striker coming down. Another land means a clue. 4 mana, and he's drawn a Tameo. Man, that's a good draw right here.
Again,
So-
uses the minus to clear a path.
So those Gnarlwood Dryads are going to be tapped, and in comes the team.
Yep.
God, the Tameos have been so good out of Luis's sideboard. Seem like they give him so much power in these matchups in particular, the slow grindy ones.
I think this is part of the. I think this is a big part of the reason why he feels like the matchup is actually pretty good.
Yeah, sounds right.
This is Pilgrimage is very good for Owen, though. This is exactly what he needs. He needs a couple lands, make a land drop right now, make sure that he makes a land drop next turn. He has cards like Elder Deep Fiend, and once he starts changing those, he's going to be in pretty good shape to stop Luis from doing too much. But definitely can't do that when he isn't hitting his land drops.
He's down to 8, though.
Yep.
I mean, Luis has a potentially lethal attack if he cracks 1 clue. Can Owen survive this turn? What is he holding?
In his hand, he has a Wretched Griff, Emrakul, Elder Deep Fiend, Dispel.
So he's just dead. None of those Gnarled Dryads are not going to give him an emerge discount. This is pure bluff. Maybe Luis won't spend his mana cracking a clue.
I mean, at this point, he's just definitely considering like what possible combination of cards could
Right.
really get me here. But things are looking really good.
Yeah,
from
no,
his
Luis
side.
is like, what is he even representing at this point? I've got a bunch of extra land. I can afford to crack a clue.
Here we go. So first clue,
This
counter on it, draw a card.
2.
Man, and Owen can't do
4, 8.
absolutely anything here. And there we see, there's a handshake. Wow. I think Luis, does this lock him up for top 8?
We believe so.
Oh my God, that's insane.
3 consecutive Pro Tour top 8s.
That is nuts.
That's a hell of a Magic player
Yeah,
right
hell
there.
of a match. Congratulations to him. We think this locks him up. Obviously, we can't say for sure until we see everything, but wow. It's been many years before the last time this was done.
Yeah, and the rumors of the death of Band Company may be a little exaggerated.
Yeah.
Luis is not done fighting yet. He's the only one having this level of success with it, but
Paul
doing
Chan was
just fine
doing
by him.
pretty well, though. He was feeling pretty ill earlier.
yeah, he was on X4 still, I
Yeah,
think.
he was X4 and still in the running, but unfortunately, I think he got food poisoning. He wasn't feeling too
Oh, wow.
well. He's still battling, though. Heart of a champion. We're moving over to our match between Reed Duke and Jacob Wilson. Reed is playing the red-green Delirium ramp. We've seen him a couple times here in the feature match. And Jacob Wilson is playing black-green Delirium. So we have a Delirium mirror here. And from one of our back tables, Sam Pardee has won the match versus Andrew Brown.
Wow. So he joins Luis at 12-2 and in the presumptive top 8.
Turn and take your next turn.
Is that a caustic caterpillar?
Anything is possible at this point.
So it looks like Emrakul the Promised End here for Reed. He's sitting at 6 life. But this is Jacob Wilson revealing his hand and Reed controlling his turn.
Jacob looking not so happy about this.
So you're at 18.
Yeah, so he's forcing Jacob to take damage from the
Llanowar Wastes.
from the Llanowar Wastes.
Doesn't look like there's much else he can do.
Play Forest.
So he's playing a forest, and he just passed straight back, made him take some damage, and passed
Yeah, I
straight
mean,
back.
Jacob's holding a couple removal spells. Reed has to settle for a 13/13 creature with flying and trample.
18-6.
Getting an update from one of our back tables, Lucas Blohon actually won his match, and it happened while he was actually being controlled
Really?
with Emrakul, yeah.
Hilarious. So his opponent took control of the turn, and Lucas won that turn anyway.
Yeah, that's the update that I
How
got.
does that happen?
18-6.
Oh, it was
Avacyn
an as
trans-
transformation.
Nice.
Wow. Wish we could have caught that on camera. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, Avacyn's gonna flip no matter who controls your turn.
All right, so Reed getting in there with that Emrakul.
5, right? 5.
13 damage and following up with a Vessel of Nascency. So Reed just has to be a little bit careful with his life total here because he is at 6, but Jacob Wilson needs an answer for Emrakul, and there's a handshake.
Wow.
Reed Duke takes this match. Does this lock him up for top 8
We
too?
think so.
Wow.
12 wins seems to be the target.
Amazing
Mathematically, maybe you can miss at 12-4, even if you were the first one to get there. But we think Reed Duke is in. We think Sam Pardee is in. We think Luis Scott-Vargas is in.
Yeah.
And Owen, despite being, 10-0, still has a little work left to do.
He
He's
does.
lost
I
a
mean, he
couple
had
since then.
4. He has 4 chances to get into the top 8, 4 rounds, and then
Well, he has
that's
2 more.
2 more. He has 2 left.
Awesome. Look, Sunday's shaping up to be spectacular either way. And man, congratulations to Reed Duke. That second Pro Tour top 8 has to feel just spectacular.
That has to feel
for him.
amazing.
Now, I mean, you can't love it yet. You kind of want to get another win and make sure it doesn't come down to tiebreakers at the end. But he should be safely in right now. He's
Yeah,
gotta
I'm
feel
sure.
great about
I'm
that.
sure they're still ecstatic. You know, obviously they want more wins. They want to continue to do as well as they
Yeah,
possibly
and
could.
you
in
want
the-
the 1 seed. You want
Yeah.
to be on the play on Sunday.
Super important. So yeah, congratulations to our players. We'll keep you updated, Rich, and everybody
Oh,
at the
yeah.
news desk. We'll keep you guys updated with all of the results and the running of all the players currently here at the Pro Tour. But awesome magic. Man, Emrakul. Who'd have thunk it?
He's everywhere.
Who'd have thunk it? It seemed too obvious. It seemed too obvious that it shouldn't be Emrakul, but then it was Emrakul.
I don't think it's obvious. I mean, over the years, it's usually when a new set comes out, it's not usually the story cards that
It's
are
true.
the big hits. It's usually some random thing like Spell Queller. Like,
Yeah.
Spell Queller puts straight into the historical narrative. Okay, 2/3, good efficient flyer, has a nice ability, plugs into the great deck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. This Pro Tour, you wanted to look at Liliana, and you wanted to look at Emrakul. That was where you found the power cards
Yeah.
from Eldritch Moon.
Big problem when you get them both in the same deck. That seems like a flavor fail, but
They're
Other
still
than
good. Good stuff.
good stuff. Stay tuned, everybody. We have a lot more magic coming your way. But for now, let's send it over to Rich at the news desk.
All right, thanks very much, Gabby and Randy there with the call. Round 14, nearly done and dusted. You can see 7 and a bit minutes left on the round. We're going to send Brian David Marshall out onto the floor, see what else he can find around for us. So plenty going on here. It looks like Luis Scott-Vargas, Hall of Famer at 12 and 2. Looks like it's enough for the top 8. He certainly thinks so, and so do all his friends. They're rarely wrong about things like that. Sam Pardy, congratulations to him. Looks like he has locked up a slot in the top 8 at 12 and 2. And so is Reed Duke, 12 and 2, making it in, which is fantastic stuff. A couple of other results coming in. Andre Strasky stays alive at the expense of Oliver Polak-Rotman of Austria. The Austrian falls to 9 and 5. That will not cut it, even by winning the last 2 to 11 and 5. But Andre Strasky, 10 and 4, still just about alive, we think. Lucas Blajon is up to 11 and 3. That is the last loss that Antonino De Rosa can give. The American-Italian dual citizenship came into the draft viewer for us yesterday. He is now at 10 and 4. Now, what about the constructed master? Well, right now, it looks like, because Owen Turtenwald just lost, to stay at 82 points, losing to Luis Scott-Vargas. Oliver, too, just talked with him. He's very happy, very excited, very, very nervous. He won again, gets to 87 points. He is 5 points clear of Owen, 6 points clear of Reed Duke, and that means he's got a great chance of being the master player in constructed with 2 rounds to go. He just needs to win one of them to lock that up. Talking of locking things up, someone who it looks like has locked his way into the top 8 is Reed Duke, and he's out on the floor with Brian David Marshall.
Thanks, Rich. I jumped a queue full of people waiting to give high fives, get interviews, and hearty back pats for Reed Duke here after he took that match. Reed, tell us about what position you find yourself in here with just a couple rounds to go.
Well, I just got my 12th win to have a 12 and 2 record, and since this is this tournament's a little bit on the small side, it seems like 12-4 with good tiebreakers has a really good chance of making the top 8. So, yeah, I mean things are going well.
And this would be a second top 8 for you. How does that feel after? Or is this a third? This would be a third.
No, it's a second Pro Tour top 8 for me, and it was a while between them, so it feels great to have another crack at the top 8 stage. Last time I went out in a pretty quick 2 games in the quarterfinals, so I'll try to improve on that.
I mean, what for people who are home and thinking about playing in the Pro Tour, what does it feel like to play on that stage under that much scrutiny, under the lights, with so much at stake? Especially when you've just watched your close friend Owen Turtenwald going into the Hall of Fame, based on his success on the Pro Tour.
Oh man, the pressure's on. I was, sweating under the lights, and when we finished the match, my hand was shaking. I could hardly sign the match slip. It's tough. I mean, it's a very emotional experience being here, but I live for it. I live for competing under this kind of pressure, and it's great.
How do you reconcile that conflict between remaining completely flat at the table with all the emotion that is imparted into being successful on the Pro Tour?
Man, that's a tough question, and it's not easy sometimes, but I've been here before, and I know that I'm well prepared, and it's playing Magic, which I've done tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times before, and I just gotta do it one more time and take it one step at a time, one turn at a time.
All right, taking it one turn at a time. Reed Duke, very likely into the top 8 here at Pro Tour Eldritch Moon.
Fantastic. Hats off to Reed Duke. Now, let's turn our attention to a part of Europe, the Czech Republic, with a long and storied tradition in the game. Martin, user Arnos Zidek back in the day before him. This was going to be a really great World Magic Cup race. That's what we thought coming in. So you're Andre Strasky, you're tied with a Lucas Blajon coming in, both in with a shout of European places at the World Championship, certainly at large places, potentially as well. So Andre Strasky has gone 10 and 4 so far across 14 rounds. He is the 3rd best placed Czech player at this Pro Tour right now, because just above him on 10, 3 and 1 is Jan Kasander. If you don't know the name, Probably means you weren't watching Grand Prix Sydney last weekend because he got all the way to the final there en route to the Pro Tour. That was just his warm-up act, but he's 10-3-1. JK very much rolling as he is at 10-3-1. But Lucas Blahan is at 11-3 right now. He leads the Czech race and that group in just a real bun fight for who's going to be the World Magic Cup finalist. And as luck would have it, out on the floor is Brian David Marshall with a microphone and Lucas Blahan.
Thanks, Rich. I'm here with Lucas Blahan. Now, we had something, I have a little earbud in here. I get a little bit of, reporting from the feature match area. And I heard that your turn was being controlled by your opponent.
Yes.
But you won the game. How does that happen? Please explain it for us.
Well, the situation was that my opponent played Emrakul, and I had Kalitas, some zombies, and Avasin in play. So I sacrificed a zombie to the Kalitas. So when it was my turn, Avasin had to flip, and my opponent was on one alive. So it triggered, and it just killed him, and he couldn't do anything about it.
So here's my turn. Enjoy it. I win.
Yes, that's how it was, basically.
So that's a pretty big win for you.
Yes, it is, because this qualifies me for Worlds now, and now I'm in pretty good shot for a top 8 if I either 1-1 or 1 and draw or 2-0 or something like that.
So you've been having a pretty spectacular season, a little bit under the radar, but platinum throughout this, coming into this event.
Yes, yes.
What does it mean to you to get to the top 8 possibly today?
Well, it would be obviously great. I mean, everyone's dream is a Hall of Fame, so this puts you a step further that way, that direction. That's it, basically.
I know that the World Magic Cup race is a little conflicting for you. You may have surged into the lead here, but you've already won a World Magic Cup qualifier?
Yes, I did. I won the last World Magic Cup qualifier. So, yeah, Andrei Strasky, he has same amount of points as me before this tournament. So I would actually prefer if he or Peter Sachurek won the captain slot. So we would be on team both.
But meanwhile, there's somebody home in the Czech Republic.
Oh, yeah, the second place finisher from the WMCQ is probably rooting for me.
He didn't think he would ever root for you again, but he's rooting for you at home right now. Do you know who it was?
I don't remember his name.
Too much stuff to keep track of here on the floor. But Lucas Blahan going into the last round with last couple rounds here with just 3 losses. Sending it back to you at the desk, Rich Hagon.
Okay, well, BDM, we're going to send you out onto the floor in search of the matches that are still going on with time called here in round 14. So here's what's going on elsewhere. We talked about Valentin Mackel constantly being, it's like half a dozen Grand Prix top 8s to his name, but not a title, regularly getting to 3-0, 4-0, 5-1 at Pro Tour level, but not quite making the jump to the next level of play where you're in the feature match area regularly at the back end of day 2. So honestly, it was a little disappointing, but also not a huge surprise when 5-0 turned into 5-2. But good news, righted the ship, got up to 7-2, then lost again, 7-3, but now had another good run. He's back in constructed. He is up to 10-4. And although he can't lose again, with 2 rounds to go, Valentin Mackel could yet have his first Pro Tour top 8, and it'd be well deserved. He travels the world. He absolutely goes everywhere. The passport is full. He's one of the great global grinders, along with the likes of Chris Calcano. Doesn't see passports and visas as a barrier, just goes wherever the magic takes him. And it would be great to see him in the top 8. He's at 10-4 right now. Also 10-4, you can't keep the name Carvalho out of the broadcast. First, it's Marcio winning Draft Master, of course, but also Pedro Carvalho from Brazil is at 10-4 right now. And also 10-4 is Martin Muller of Denmark. After 7-4, very down in the dumps, 10-4, playing for top 8 in the next couple of rounds. But BBD and BDM, they're all going to be in our next little feature. I'm going to hit myself. Oh, I bet a lot of you enjoyed that, not as much as me. Brian David Marshall is out on the floor with BBD, and he's up against, from the Netherlands, Thomas Hendricks.
Thanks, Rich. We're here on the floor. It's game 3 between Brian Braun-Duin and Thomas Hendricks. Brian Braun-Duin, of course, playing the green-black Delirium deck, while Thomas Hendricks is playing the Emerge deck that we've seen many of the European players play. And let me get a check on the life scores for you. Brian Braun-Duin is at 11, and Thomas Hendricks is at 9 here. You see a Den Protector and a Grim Flare attacking, and Tireless Tracker steps in the way of one of those. Well, we saw an Elder Deep Fiend there. Brian Braun-Duin has gone down to 1 life. Thomas Hendricks at 9.
So BBD, this is platinum on the line. He needed to get to 12-4. He's at 9-3-1 right now, about to go to 9-4-1 unless he can find a way out here.
Transgress the Mind from BBD. He activates. Okay, Thomas Hendricks activates Lumbering Falls, gets in with both, and he gets the win. Thomas Hendricks fills out the slip, 2-1. Let's see if we can find you some other magic. In the meantime, we're going to send it back to Rich at the news desk.
All right, thanks very much to Brian David Marshall. He's heading off in pursuit of more magic for you. In the background there, you saw Steve Rubin. Now, the way things are working, Seth Manfield can get to a maximum of 89 points for Player of the Year. Owen Turtenwald, if he gets into the top 8, will get up to 90. But if Steve Rubin gets into the top 8 as well, then we've got some scenarios, because if Owen Turtenwald loses his quarterfinal and Steve Rubin makes it into the top 8 and then wins the whole thing, they'll be at 90 points each. And at that point, you'd have a playoff for Player of the Year. Owen Turtenwald would be the US national champion, but nonetheless, that is one of the scenarios we're looking at. But if Turtenwald makes the top 8 and Rubin does not, tonight you will have a Player of the Year. It will be the Hall of Fame elect Owen Turtenwald. That is what it is looking like right now. But first, he has to cross the line and get into the top 8. Out on the floor, Brian David Marshall has more red-hot action. It's John Stern from Canada up against the Netherlands Hall of Famer Frank Karsten.
Thanks, Rich. We're up. And you came to us just in time for the handshake. Frank Karsten wins the match over John Stern. John Stern was just at 1. He might have had something in his hand, but it looks like he did not. And the Elder Deep Fiends from Frank Karsten take the match. Also in the background, we just saw David Ochoa win his match. We see there's another match going on. Nope, that looks like that's wrapped up as well. There's not much going on over here. I'm going to send it back to you quick, Rich, and I'll see if I can set up for this even flock match that looks like it's still playing. But let's send it back to you real quickly at the news desk.
Okay, and you can see all the MTG Mint card track-suited players there on the left-hand side of your screen. They are obviously just all over that match, even flop. We'll see if we can get a little moment with them. Just to let you know, we have got a deck tech coming out very soon. For you, we're going to see Simon Nielsen, one of the World Magic Cup winners from Dane Blast, Nice in 2014. We'll be going back there, of course, next year. So we'll be with him in just a few minutes, but we will see if we can get you a little bit of that action from the Slovak national champion, Ivan Flock. Meanwhile, I can tell you that the leader in the Constructed Master, Oliver 2, well, he, as I said, he was very, very nervous, but he likes to come and tell you just how nervous he is. BDM, take the pulse of Oliver 2 for us.
All right. Thank you so much, Rich. I'm here with Oliver 2. Oliver, you have stormed into the lead here for the Constructed Master title. Tell me about what's going on here on the floor.
Well, if I win one of the next 2 rounds, I'm pretty sure I'm locked. And even if I lose the next 2 rounds, I need Owen or Reed to not go 2-0. So a lot of things have to go wrong in order to not make it. But it's pretty crazy, and I just can't describe how much this would mean to me if I make Worlds this year.
Now, I saw an interesting situation. I know you're a big fan of Owen Turtenwald. When we did our first interview a couple Pro Tours ago, you mentioned that. And then you had to sort of watch Owen from the rail and sort of root against him a little bit there. What was that like for you? Was that a little conflicting?
A little bit. Like, I want Owen to win, but he's going to win regardless. So, you know, sometimes you just have to root against the master.
So tell us about what deck you're playing this weekend. What was your weapon of choice for this, for your 4th entry into the Constructed Master Sweepstakes?
I went with Black Green Delirium, which is what most of my team played. If I had known all the possible decks I could have played, I probably would have played something similar to Owen's deck, but I didn't have access to that deck, so this was the best choice. I feel like.
It was a very successful deck as far as putting people through to day 2.
Yeah, I think day 1 we had like an over 70% win rate, which is very, very high. It has a good matchup against Bant, which is very popular. It's less good against the other Emrakul decks because you're more grindy and not able to play Emrakul as quickly, but you're better against the more aggressive creature-based decks.
As the potential constructed master here, what deck have you seen on the floor that has taken you the most by surprise?
Definitely the Temur Emerge deck. It's pretty crazy how they combine the Emerge elements with the Delirium elements. I would have never thought about that, and it's clearly very good deck building.
All right, Oliver, to you. Probably going to be the constructed master here, but we still have 2 rounds of Magic to go before we find out for sure.
Here's a great story for you. Daniel Cathro, a 25-year-old American. He's played a total of 3 Grand Prix in his life, 50% win rate from those 3 GPs. Only began at GP Las Vegas last year, went along to his local PPTQ, went along to his local RPTQ, or as local as it gets, qualified for his first Pro Tour here. He has just won his match. He is at 10-3-1. If he wins his next 2, he will be in the top 8 in his very first Pro Tour. And boy, oh boy, when you think that we've got Reed Duke and Luis Scott-Vargas and Sam Pardy already in there, and what else might be on the way, it is just a staggering lineup that we could potentially see. But some great names. Thomas Hendricks, you just saw beating BBD. That keeps Hendricks alive. He's 10-3-1. Maybe he faces Daniel Cathro next round, also 10-3-1. Jan Cassandra of the Czech Republic we mentioned, and Ken Yukahiro's result is in. He's won, still alive, 10-3-1. But we're going to step away, no matches left, so they're going to go into a pretty convoluted pairings round, so we've got a few minutes before round 15. It's deck tech time, and the man in the best tie in World Magic. Let's head across to Ian Duke, it's not him, and Simon Nielsen.